This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus,
Ready to go? Ready for more?
proud
Ready
sponsor
for
of
me?
WA football.
Ready and not ready. And I can't stop for you. Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Leederville Oval. This afternoon, round 6 of the WAFLW season continues to roll, and what a game we have in store this afternoon. Top of the table clash with the Subiaco Lions hosting the rampaging Claremont Tigers. First taking on second, both with identical records this afternoon, 3 wins and 1 loss. Claremont coming in as the form team of the competition. They've won their last 3, and Subiaco coming off their biggest win of the year, a 51-point demolition of Peel back in round 5. Matt Churches is my name. We're bringing you all the action from this top of the table clash very shortly. We'll also hear from our co-commentators and preview the big game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Round 6 of the WAFLW just around the corner.
It's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. They need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First, a network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. It's obviously a new chapter in my career, my football career, but I'm incredibly excited to be here and a part of this football club, and I've been really impressed by the professionalism, the level of respect that they've treated me through this process, and I guess the core values that the club have. The product that we're producing now for AFLW has really grown over 3 years, but the next 3 to 5 years is going to be incredible, and some really talented girls coming through, and I can't wait to actually work alongside them, and I felt like I'd be a part of a family here.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Welcome back to Leederville Oval. This afternoon, round 6 of the WAFLW season. Top of the table, Subiaco taking on Claremont. Matt Chechen's calling all the action this afternoon from a very wet and windy Leederville Oval. It is 18 degrees currently, light showers throughout, and it will affect the quality of the contest. As we said, a top of the table clash. Clint Degebrot joins me this afternoon. Very good afternoon, Clint.
G'day, Matt. How you going?
Living the dream, mate. This is going to be a great game. 2 teams that are in form and only met just back in round 4, where Claremont prevailed 5-1-31 to 3-6-24. 7 points, more scoring shots for Subiaco, but Claremont kicking straight.
An entertaining clash too today. Looking for Kate Orme playing the anchor role there. Chloe Colgate's been a revelation with her high skills in the midfield for Claremont, and capitalising on some work through midfield is Chloe Metcalf. They've started to lower their eyes and connect with her, so that's Claremont's fortunes. Just one bad thing today. Emily Bonds are not out there, so a little inside pressure missing from the Tigers.
And a very good afternoon to our fellow co-commentator Ellie Lampkin. 200 games plus in local footy. Welcome to the game.
Hey Matt, how you going? I don't know if it's that many,
6
but
clubs.
Clint may have sold me up the river with your stats before the game.
220
He does
games,
that.
7 clubs.
There we go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Subi come up and approach this game, having, as you said, lost to Claremont a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
But I think with the addition of Renee Forth and their long kicker in Mackenzie Darrick, they'll be able to link up and use that long penetrating kick of Mackenzie Darrick and get some deep entries forward, which will just suit Tani Tester, who's just running amok in the forward line at the moment for them. So I think if they get it in quick and their possession game will suit them in the wet.
So Forth, a big addition for them coming back from the City of Churches, her duties in Adelaide. Clint, there's a big out for Claremont this afternoon. One of their better players in Emily Bonza won't be playing this afternoon.
Surprise to us. Hopefully just a work schedule thing, or I haven't heard of any injury, and I know she's been going really well across the long term. Yes, they will miss her. They do have Brooke and Leah Ursig charging around those wings, so as long as they can close out and help Claremont build their box, they should be able to cover for that. You can't cover for a loss of a player like Emily Bonza, but they might be able to just manage that inside pressure.
Claremont, no noted spearhead, whereas Subiaco have got Tani Tester fresh off 6 goals in her last effort.
Tani Tester has been a wonderful use of her body one out. She's able to roll her defender really well. I think Chloe Metcalf is the spearhead that the Tigers are looking for. They get some space in front of her, get her hitting up and lower their vision. She can be really damaging. 2
goals so far. Let's see if she can add to that total. Well, the players into position, ready to go round 6, top of the table. Subiaco will be kicking towards the Leaderville, the Vincent Street end of the ground. That's to the right of your screen. Claremont to the Loftus Centre to your left. Siren sounds and we are underway. Ball up. It'll be Piscaneri winning it down with the right hand off towards the side. No clearance as yet. Putting her head over the footy there was Stubbs, and she's wrapped up in the tackle with no prior opportunity. Heavy shower just before the opening bounce this afternoon. It will be quite soggy underfoot as the ball's one down towards Colgate. She can't extract the football, and we'll have a secondary bounce. And Clint, I think this might be a feature of the call this afternoon.
Particularly early, these two teams will be really trying to get in close and own the physical presence in the stoppage early. It should break open as the run from both sides starts to develop.
So Piscaneri with her second hit out, and Subiaco finally get the first clearance, and they'll look to go forward. Up towards right half forward. No decisive mark through the hands there of the number 27 in Forth. We spoke about her before. Just gets a hurried kick, but it's partially smothered. Sliding in on hands and knees was Miller. Trying to burst her way through the pack was Dowrick, and through the football, incorrect disposal. So that's good, tough tackling, and that was a feature, Clint, of our last broadcast game against East Fremantle, where they managed to hold on a fast finishing Sharks outfit.
The best, cleanest, highest skilled, most physical game of female football I reckon I've seen. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So Claremont will bring that pressure, and Subiaco will enjoy that physical nature of the game too.
So another stoppage at right half forward for Subiaco. And this will be a feature throughout the afternoon. Piscaneri taking on Laurie. Piscaneri best on ground in that grand final of the local competition last year, albeit in a losing effort. Elects to go with 2 hands. Filicamo onto the right boot, up towards the pocket. Good defensive work there from Garstone. Managed to halve the contest. Subiaco player taken without it. They usher it out the back door now, and the clearing kick from Zadink out towards the advantage there of Orm. So Orm, good clean skills in these wet conditions. Kicks hurriedly up on the right boot. Could be coming back this way. Subiaco overrun the football. Some good strong body work at the moment. 2-on-1 tackle on that far side of the ground, and the umpire calls for another stoppage. So we're still waiting on our first score. We've ticked over just 2 minutes in this opening term. And Ellie, anything that you can see early from these two sides?
Yeah, both of them are going to enjoy the entire close contest, and I think that Subiaco here will try and possess the footy and link up like they normally like to do.
So Dowrick's kick comes through and evades all from the back of the pack. Some good heavy work there from Tester. Off the ground, just misses to the right-hand side. As we said, she is the leading goal kicker in the competition so far, fresh off 6 goals. But that one misses our first score, albeit a minor score. So 2 3/4 minutes played. It's Subiaco leading by that soccer scoreline of 1-0 as the ball gets cleared. And that's a good kick, lowering the eyes and finding Urseg. So Urseg marks at left half back, looks to bring it into the corridor. Well-weighted kick. And the first opportunity of the afternoon for Claremont to have a bit of possession. This is Stewart, and Stewart's kick's poor. Straight down the throat of Piscaneri. And Piscaneri, well, she took too long, ended up kicking into the man on the into the player on the mark there. That was Laurie. Laurie does well. Great tackle. Probably could have been rewarded. The umpire's letting them play. And crashing in there was Brooke White, and another stoppage. So, in fact, he's picked out a free kick.
Yeah, just judged that Filicamo dived on it.
Yep.
And Brooke White certainly dived on her.
So field umpires this afternoon, Josh Antelove and Jack Miotti. They've made a solid start as the ball moves up. This is as far forward as the Tigers have been. And Subiaco looked to repel that. So a hurried kick is going to end up onto the chest of Filicamo. Now Filicamo's got options wide. She feigns and looks for the one with a 45-degree kick. So possession game, you think Clinton's going to be key in these conditions. Short chipping.
Yeah, high-skilled side too, Subiaco. Jay Saria there, just finding some little holes and obviously trying to connect with Derek. Pugh so far has been good. Couple of little handballs to release her teammates. She's looked for Orm on the far side too. Highly skilled player. It looks like she's dealing with a dry ball. Yep,
so Laura Pugh from West Perth last year. Her father, Trevor, was actually an ex-Perth Wildcat, so good athletes in the family as the Tigers look to go forward. But again, Subiaco just hunting in packs at the moment. So the long, high clearance out towards a one-on-one. Outstretched hands there from the Subiaco player, Jai Saria. She couldn't reel in the mark. Chance now for Claremont. Outer side. That ball will run out of tarmac just between the wing and half forward, and another ball up. However, it is that rule, isn't it? The last touch rule. So Subiaco with a quick play on. Well-weighted kick again to Filicamo. She's starting to get plenty of possessions, Ellie.
Yeah, she is a very smart player. Doesn't seem to be running very hard, but always gets to the right spot, finds some space, and it is a really good link-up player for them.
Interesting kick. That's gone past two Tiger defenders, but good buttering up tackle there by Colgate, and the umpire will have it again.
Very good matchup too, Ellie. Having Hongel getting on to Tony Tester.
Yeah, definitely. They've both got very good speed and read the ball quite well. Hongel just needs to keep her in front. Don't let her go side. She's very dangerous when she's out the back.
We'll have another ball up. We'll get to see Laurie, who's the captain this afternoon, locking horns with Piscaneri. And the former ladder wins it down. Out towards Colgate now. Quick hand pass, receding a little bit of ground. Great smother on the football. That might open the door, a chance for Subiaco. Pouncing on the football is Goodwin Wissink. No prior opportunity. Another ball up. And a little bit to do afterwards. A bit of push and shove.
You're a brave person to try and keep Hayley Miller down on the ground when she doesn't want to be on the ground.
Out the side of the pack. Some soccer skills here from Subiaco. Attacking the footy. Kick was partially smothered again. Good strong tackle there laid by Garstone, but they managed to jar the football out. Didn't travel the required distance, so Stubbs has to go in. They kick around the corner. One-on-one contest, and the ball trickles out of play. Hongel will be relieved at that as the ball goes out right next to the right behind post for another ball in. We're still waiting on our first goal of the afternoon as we approach almost the midway point of this first term. Matt Chechens, Clinton Degebrot and Ellie Lampkin bringing all the action. Round 6. In goes Filicamo. Tries to tow the ball away. Now the umpire spotted a free kick and it's going the way of Filicamo. So she was held off the ball. Just inquiring now onto the mark, and the umpire rightfully bringing the Claremont defender back. Does she have the distance, Clint?
I was going to say this is probably going to arc up into the goal square, but a little bit of a light breeze favouring her.
And
so nice solid strike.
Makes an absolute mockery of that. Puts it over the goal umpire's hat and cops one as well from the player. But we finally got our first major of the afternoon, and Lara Filicamo cashes in. She's had plenty of possessions early in this one and kicks the first.
That was a very very good kick for Filicamo. Famous for her short kicking and famous for finding that space. I did think she would arc that up into the goal square for someone to catch it, but she just flushed it.
Yeah, she hit it really nicely, and like you said, there's a little bit of a breeze behind her, so that might have helped it along a little. It's interesting in that stoppage that Claremont were trying to use the corridor. There's always space, it seems, at centre bounce or boundary throw-ins in the corridor. They had two players there, but in the wet, it was just a little bit too dangerous. And Filicamo, right spot again.
As we approach the 8-minute mark of this first term, Subiaco drawing first blood. Claremont with yet to enter their forward 50 as Piscaneri's running out of room. Just manages to get the left-hand hand pass out of the congestion. Good work again from Goodwin Wissink. They kick it off the ground. 2-on-1 will favour briefly the Tigers, but they converge from all angles. And Alana Dickey there on the scene as well, tying the ball up. In fact, that's the 28 in Robertson. My apologies. So a lot of players around this stoppage. Laurie just gets rid of Piscaneri. Fed it down with two hands. And Melissa Lim with a good strong tackle. Can't jar the footy loose, so we reset. Ball back up. Laurie on the second effort. Won it down. Now, finally, the Tigers inside 50, and it's effective too. Onto the chest of Brooke White, who's kicked 3 goals in 2019. This one will be into a slight breeze. It'll take her best effort. Not much of an angle to kick on, and Claremont out of nowhere get a contested mark inside forward 50 on basically their first venture forward. Very close to the player on the mark and looking to go for extra distance, and has missed to the left-hand side. But Claremont finally make an indent on that scoreboard. 1-1-7, just the one behind. We've ticked over 8 1/4 minutes.
Claremont have got the game locked off pretty neatly here. Subi's going to have to use their chip and connect play game, I'd suggest.
And they try to measure the kick, but Laurie's there to chop it off. She was taking a good tackle, but got the hand pass away. Subiaco looked to clear. And was that touched off the boot? No, said the umpire. And the mark will be paid. Second bite of the cherry to Dowrick. So 7-gamer for Brisbane. Kicks up towards the broadcast wing. Now there's numbers out the back now. Can Stubbs get onto it? No, she just overran the football. Rosengrave in there also. Tough and tight at the moment. Trying to spin away through the congestion with Zadink. It's going to come out the back then. Kick around the corner again from Subiaco. Just looking for territory. The Claremont defender taking a long time to close down, but Subiaco running out of space, and seeing it out of play is Tani Tester for a ball in, 60 metres out.
Claremont did well then to slow the ball down and lock it in, because Tani Tester was on her way to the goal square. Just one quick kick and that probably would have been a goal.
A dangerous forward. So Laurie starting to get a bit of ascendancy in the ruck, but it's going to be kicked forward inside 50 by Devlin. High hanging ball. Can the crumbs be gathered? Still trying to paddle in front of herself there. Onto the footy was Tester. Claremont will want to get numbers to this contest. They just try and flick it out the back. Try not to give away that holding the ball decision. Now they got numbers out the back, but Subiaco do well. Stubbs just try to burst her way through. There's Tester taking in the tackle and holding the ball, said the umpire. That was Renee Forth rather. So Claremont withstanding a couple of these inside 50s at the moment, Clint, from Subiaco.
Yeah, fierce pressure. Subi's fast ball movement, once they did a few little connections, is putting Claremont under a lot of pressure. Claremont just need a little kick and catch and get their breath.
So Claremont finally get a decisive clearance out towards the wing. Chasing through will be White. And prior opportunity here from the umpire, no, he says. So another ball up.
So fast play against Subi, really want to go quickly here.
Yep.
Putting a lot of pressure on the Tigers.
So Laurie just uses her body well down there to the agency of Urseg, who kicks up towards the middle of the ground. Again, it's very soft underfoot, particularly in this part of the ground. So off the ground there was Urseg again, only as far as the Subiaco player in Golisano. Now she just kicked for territory. A bit of room out there for Pugh now. So she gathers just between half back and the wing, kicks down the line, finds the teammate. She is corralled on the boundary line. Good strong tackle, jarred free, and as the umpire rewarded it, he has. So a chance now to rebound for Subiaco. Good spearing ball inside, finding Golisano. She want to play on. Looks in towards the corridor. That was a kick which just fell a little short of its intended target. Unfortunately for Subiaco, it was chopped off. So a bit of tennis-style action at the moment between half forwards on both ends of the ground. Subiaco again with the numbers, almost at front-on contact. The umpire's letting them play. And another ball up.
It was remarkable. Was it going to be a slot taking the legs, or was it going to be high contact? Anyone went between her legs and nutmegged her. Everyone was safe and happy.
So ball up. Zading tried to win it down. And again, this rugby maul style of play coming forward, and we still await another ball up.
Claremont are really trying to take on the corridor whenever they've got the ball, rebounding off half back. trying to get the quickest way to goal.
It looks as though we'll have another stoppage as Subiaco come in again. And finally, a holding the ball decision paid. So reward for effort for Walker. She'll have it at true centre half back. Not many options in the middle of the ground. She's going to bring it out towards the edge of that centre square. Good mark. And they'll play on. Kicking up towards the contest. Well weighted kick. That was brilliant. Good build-up play now from the Lions. This is Dowrick onto her left boot now. She's got a teammate over the top in Road. And Road managed to just read that drop of the footy. So there's a one-on-one inside 50. So she doesn't want to load up. Instead, measured play and finds Jaya Saria. She kicks to a 2-on-1 that favoured the Tigers. Up towards Testa. She's outnumbered and a push in the back. Overzealous in there from Filicamo giving away the free kick. And it'll go the way of Honjul. And she goes with the right boot up towards the 2-on-2. Offhand, spills out towards the back. Into the hands of Piscaneri. Has to kick off one step, and that affected where it was going to land into the grateful arms of Laura Pugh. So she's looking inboard. Instead, she'll bring it out. Long high kick, beautifully done, and a nice strong mark out in front, taken by Brooke White. And White will kick down to the contest. A couple of players lose their feet at the wrong time. Claremont could have almost been out of that stoppage. Out of that contest.
Thought she already had it and she was off.
Yep, and they were having numbers, and it was a vacant forward 50, so Subiaco will breathe a sigh of relief. 14 and a half minutes have travelled. Claremont still looking for their first goal. Good solid slap on the footy, and Filicamo may have given away another free kick. She has. So it'll go the way of Claremont.
She's been putting a fair bit of work into Jazzy Stewart in and around the stoppages, Filicamo.
She's a dangerous player when she can get it on that left boot.
Stewart, 45-metre drop punt up towards the wing now. Claremont do have the numbers over the back. That was Dickey. Couldn't gather cleanly. Off the ground was Subiaco. Again, they're just getting numbers and willing themselves towards the contest at the moment. Strong tackling again. They'll want to force another stoppage, and they do. Right on the paint of 50. Only 3 minutes remaining in this opening term. Top of the table clash from Leederville Oval. The rain's holding off, but it's threatening. Piscaneri again wins it down with the two hands. Off one step goes Colgate. Inside 50. Good solid punch on the footy. Filicamo gets in there to aid her teammate and ties the ball up.
It's a really good contest here with Brooke White and Tony Golisano. It's going to be an interesting one all day, I think.
One down again by Piscaneri. Filicamo tries to break through two tackles, does so. Out towards Stubbs. She's slung in a very good tackle, but no Pryor. Strong work again from Alana Dickey. Kick one goal against the Lions back in round 4. And this ball starts tumbling out towards the paint. We'll have another ball in. Just 2 minutes left in this quarter. Early stages, but you feel that Claremont really need to get a bit of reward in this first term. Clint, would you agree?
Time in forward half. Yeah, a couple of Claremont players getting on top, and they're well negated by a couple of Subiaco players that are sort of equal at the other end. So a bit of an arm wrestle. It's good to watch.
Piscaneri again, won it down. Oh, solid bump coming from the Subiaco player in Miller. Jarred the footy loose. And the stray kick ends up in the hands of Lim. So she goes off one step. Pugh rises. Couldn't grab the mark, but managed to just farm it off to a teammate. Kick partially smothered around the corner. Can the Tigers keep the ball alive? Subiaco doing well. On hands and knees was Maskell. Her first touch of the football. They gain another 10 metres with the soccer off the ground. And can't really fault their intent this afternoon. The tackling's been tough and strong.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both teams would like it into close contests. They've got some good, strong players that will really try and drive their legs in this type of contest.
So can Subiaco hold off? They'll love this stoppage at the moment to try and protect this 6-point lead heading into the first change. Just 1 minute remaining exactly in the opening term.
Beatrice Devlin, Renee Forth and Mackenzie Darrett forward of this footy for Subi.
Piscaneri again wins it down, and Subi get that clearance. So they'll need to win it back here, the Tigers, if they want to put another impression on this scoreboard. Clever hand pass out of the congestion. Piscaneri did so well at ground level for such a taller player. Still going at the moment. That was brilliant. Quick hand pass allows the clearing kick up towards Tessa. Now, she was held off the ball. The umpire was on the wrong side of it. They let them play, so Claremont, now with just 20 seconds remaining in the term, you think they need a mark here and a kick inside. They're not going to get it. Kicking off one step there was Golisano. Only into the hands of Honjul now. She can run her measure. Kicks up towards Laurie. How will the ball sit for her? Well, it popped up in front of her face. She did well. Fires off the hand pass to Timmers. She looks to kick inside 50. Only 5 seconds to go in the term. And Subiaco will breathe a sigh of relief as the ball comes out. And that ends a very low-scoring but entertaining first term. It is Subiaco 117, leading Claremont just one behind. And after the very fast start from Subiaco, repeat entries inside 50. Claremont bounced back, only with the one behind Clint, but better signs from them in that second part of the term.
Absolutely. Pugh and White really lit up the Tigers there for mine just in that last little bit. Interesting, my comment was that they had two good players from each side. For Subi, I thought it was Devlin and Filicamo. Devlin getting on the fly around the stoppages, then stand in front of the ball. So Filicamo through the midfield for Subi, Devlin coming off the half forward and through the midfield, while White and Pugh at either end, really good for the Tigers.
Yeah,
so
and Filicamo, the only goal kicker so far this afternoon.
So both teams have got some dangerous players around the ground. Look like they could break the game open at any stage.
Well, the players break off in towards their huddle, all still to play for. Top of the table clash here at Leederville Oval. The heavens yet to open during the game. It is 117 to just one behind. It's the Lions by 6. We'll take a few messages and we'll be right back after this.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First, a network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
People telling me I wouldn't make it gave me all the motivation I needed. I was lucky enough to be picked up as one of the first ever AFLW players for the Eagles, and I just can't explain it. I can't explain the feeling. It was an absolute dream come true. How involved everyone is, how accepted and how equal the club is. Not even just this club, it's the footy community that's just a family, and that heartfelt feeling of, you know, you're here and you belong. I'm honestly so excited to get started, so bring on 2020.
It's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. They need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're lately in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Welcome back to the WAFLW. Thanks to Optus. It is round 6, top of the table clash and a tight game in pretty wet and soggy conditions here at Leederville Oval. 117 Subiaco currently sitting atop of the tree, leading Claremont just the one behind. A slight breeze to the right of screen as we see the Tigers, and Di Loretto just going through with his charges and focusing on what needs to happen in this second term. They will kick, as we said, Clint, with that sort of slight breeze to the right, but they did well, particularly in the back half in that latter stages of the term, but they just need to capitalise more going forward.
Didn't quite get it their own way, Claremont. They like to bring their anchor up and set it really high, so they like to form a nice box through the middle, then stick Kate on back. Subiaco did a fantastic job of stretching the game out long, which put a lot of pressure on. You can see here with those anchor players for the Tigers on the highlights. So they're not able to set up that umbrella back behind the football or the U-shape because Tester was obviously stretching the ground out very long. Then Devlin and Mackenzie Dowrick can't just leave those guys free. Whereas conversely, Subiaco did use the ball short on the 45 through the corridor and didn't allow Claremont to push them out skinny.
I just felt that both teams took a while to adapt to the conditions, didn't they? We saw a lot of stoppages in the first 5 to 8 minutes of that term, and then, as Clint said, that sort of chipping game, that possession style game was a bit of a feature. Clint Nelly, just want to touch on last week, the WAFLW All-Stars game, defeating the WA18s, who we'll get to later in the call. They're 2-0 at the moment. They're going along fantastically, but it was the All-Stars 5-5-35 defeating the WA18s 5-4-34, and a great exhibition of the talent that's on display here in WA.
Basically, the guaranteed that the 18s are ready on Friday for Claremont, for Queensland. Yep. Such a fantastic hit out for 18s, best preparation they've ever had. A couple of years ago, the team played a very, very good, strong Swan District side. Off the back of that, Prep went over and were able to pit Vic Metro. So yeah, thankful that game here features. That game last week featured a lot of players that are out here today. Lyndall Road was outstanding in that game. Caitlin Walker was good too. Yep. Stubbs and Piscaneri played there too, and Brooke. A number of Claremont players played as well. And let's have a look now at the AFL Women's Under-18s National Champs. And on Friday it was WA 7-8-50 defeating Queensland. Yet to they didn't register a major, just the 3 behind, so a 47-point win. And Rue kicking 3 majors. That was a fantastic effort. Yeah, Rue got off the chain, really jumped at the football.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see her just raw athletic ability was full on display. But all the girls went out there really hungry, and their tackle pressure was just the trademark for that game. They just didn't give Queensland a second of time or space, so just turned the ball over constantly, and that amount of pressure results in getting the ball forward in the forward half.
So McDonald and Webb and young O'Driscoll was a feature. It's a great story. She's a Northern girl. I know her mother quite well. She actually used to babysit me back in the day in Merredin. She was a state netballer, but also their brother playing in the WA18 in the men's side as well. That's a fantastic story.
It is. I had the pleasure of dealing with both at the same time. I did a bit of coaching over at Perth for a little bit, and Nathan in the 15s, and then came across on a Sunday and had Emma in the state 18s program. And very entertaining and very friendly family. Yeah, exactly. And look, the young ladies backing it up again. So WA today 4-4-28 defeating Queensland 2-1-13. Morrison, Rue, Buckley and Smith the goal kickers. Yeah, it was nice to see Buckley and Morrison get a couple of snags again between them. Very, very hard-working players, and Smith, of course, winger, worked up the ground to kick a goal too. So good signs for the young talent in the state. Very exciting, very exciting. A good group, high in character, and there's a number of them actually come from that camp to right here today, so they're on the sidelines watching. It never ends as the second term gets underway. How will the Tigers respond? They only trail by 1 goal. They've won their last 3. Another chance at the stoppage here. We'll look at how they're setting up at the moment. Subiaco with 1 behind the ball. As the ball will spill out towards there. Piscaneri, she's had a good first term. That's fed out towards Filicamo, the only goal kicker so far this afternoon. So Subiaco kicking to the left of your screen. Dowrick couldn't gather that ball. It's going to fall kindly now to Garstone. Receding a little bit of ground now. It comes out to Orme. She kicks hurriedly up towards the wing. That's good body work from Timmers. And she plays on. So Claremont showing their intent early. That kick just landing short of the designated target. Open the door there for Maskell. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Well read. That's onto the left boot now of Dowrick. Kicking up towards the 2-on-2. How will it bounce? Jaya Sareer's on the scene. Just feeds off the hand pass. Out towards the back now to fourth. Back into the lineup. Her first game. Bit of pinball coming off 2 fists. And falling kindly for the Tigers. And the kick just getting to its intended target. And Jasmine Stewart stooping down low. Now that's an interesting looking kick. Subiaco, good talk. And a good strong mark by Walker. So the ball just pinballing around between half forward and inside 50. That kick drops short. Going in front on there was Valentini. And dumped in the tackle there was Dowrick. We've got another stoppage. Worked really hard on their matchups here. See Sarah Garstone's going on to Beatrice Devlin. Amber Goodwin-Wissing minding Mackenzie Dowrick, but expecting a fumble. You're not going to get too many of them from Dowrick. No. Got to come up and body up on her to put a bit of pressure on her. So the 2-1s go sliding in, and earning the free kick for the legging decision it was Colgate. So Filicamo, despite being the only goal kicker, has given away a couple of free kicks this afternoon as that kick will be chopped off. So here come the Lions yet again, looking to rebound. That's Maskell. Having a big impact, Maskell, off half-back. Finding fourth. What a great addition she will be. Up towards attacking 50. That's a brilliant sliding mark by Dowrick, I think it is. And she goes spearing up towards centre half forward. Now Piscaneri in a bit of a foot race. Just gets rid of her opponent. One way then the other and snaps a goal. That was superb.
Just used her body on Paris Laurie, threw her to the side, feigned with the left boot, swung it around on the right. How about that goal, Clint?
Absolutely loved it, but what I love the most there is the way Piscaneri turned and embraced 3 players on her way through. Celebration of the day so far. Neat, fleet-footed work from the tall ruck from the Lions.
Former state basketballer, I believe also was on a scholarship over towards the US. She is great above her head, but also at ground level for a taller player.
I like the way, basically, when the ball goes towards it, the ground ball rolls in, it stops. It gets stopped, and she provides a nice contest. So,
will she be involved with the Eagles setup? Coming in through next year?
She's an Eagles Academy member, and it wouldn't be beyond reason to suggest that the 2 people rucking against each other today here would be the 2 rucks for West Coast Eagles in 2020.
From the southwest of WA as well, so they beat them tough down there. That was a superb goal. We can say it's the goal of the day because Filicamo had a set shot earlier this afternoon, but that'll take some beating. Here comes Stubbs. That kick just slewing off the side of the boot, just busting through there was Forth, just creating a little bit of space. Now that's a one-on-one up towards Jaya Saria. Now the ball spills out towards the back. Well done, Honjul. She's winning that contest at the moment, being held on to, but the umpire's letting them play. That's Tester. She did well. They're trying to bottle it up now, Subiaco. Honjul, one way then the other. Did she dispose of that? Yes, said the umpire. Out the back now to Subiaco. Now there's a vacant square, so the kick by Devlin will roll through. So Subiaco turning on the style at the moment. And their 3rd goal kick of the afternoon, Beatrice Devlin. And they're starting to cash in on all those repeat forward 50 entries.
Yeah, Claremont had possession and had control in that back line. They just needed to clear it. They were just trying to step one too many players, and Subiaco are a really hard hunting team. They're not going to give you too much time in that forward line, so you need to get it out really long and quick when you can.
Originally from the Jandakot Jets, kicks her 4th goal of the season, her 1st of the afternoon, and a bit of breathing space now, Clint, for Subiaco.
It is. It's a neat kick and a quality finish. You have every expectation of that going shallow, so it's a really, really good strike from her. But what a good kick too. Was that 37 metres out? Right.
I feel like it was the wrong side as well.
Yeah, smashed it in.
So Subiaco asking all the questions. How will the Tigers respond? They're getting numbers to the contest. They need to start generating a few forays forward. That's hacked out of the air out towards Stubbs. She wins that football, but Laurie just hunts her down. Slung off the footy. Did well. Hand pass comes in board now. Up towards Roden Zimdal. The umpire letting them play on. Now kick up towards half forward. Bit of a one-on-one at the moment. They managed to soccer forward. That was clever. Into the arms now of White. So White goes over the top. How will the ball bounce? Can they keep it in? No. So Subiaco getting numbers back, and running out of room there was Chloe Metcalf. And they get their 2nd score, but they're still waiting on their 1st goal. Now it's an interesting kick in, and that'll be hunted down and well smothered. Ball still in dispute at the moment. 2 players coming in. Almost a head-on collision there and out of play, and the intensity is starting to go up a notch. As you can see, Claremont now just trying to lift their intensity.
Playing the small forward role perfectly. Amanda Robertson just able to get that one off the ground, little solo, and then keep the ball inside forward 50.
Piscaneri, almost best on ground at the moment. Gained 20 metres with that hit out, but it could come back. Here come Claremont. They load up. This will be up towards a 2-on-2. Going out the back there was Metcalf. Brought it down at ground level. Slung in a good tackle. Out to the side of the pack. Here's the first shot on goal for the Tigers. They finally got it through the right boot of Zoe Timmers. Former Subiaco player kicks her first, and Claremont's oh no, it's going to be rubbed out. Touched off the boot.
I couldn't see what that was touched. Yeah, it must have been early, but the goal umpire had a
yeah, the goal umpire saw it early and called it early, yeah.
Interesting here, the players are still required to jump the fence to get the football. You reckon we get a couple down each end of the ground for them just to save? You'd hate to see a player go over the fence and injure themselves on the way back. Or
particularly with no time on as well. It
could
be
time-wasting technique.
Exactly. So Subiaco bring it back in. The right boot of Cowie. And it's going to be snapped from the pocket out of bounds on the full. But that sort of run of 2 unanswered goals have really put a bit of life into the Tigers at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. They've had to work really hard here. So very proud team, very well drilled. They've had a big pre-season, so that'll sting them a little bit. But at the moment, the talent, the Subiaco Lions, and the intent, just a little much for the Tigers to handle. So
2 goals in this second term for Subiaco sees them with a 16-point advantage as we've just ticked over 7 minutes in this second term. Clint Degebrot, Ellie Lampkin and Matt Chetchins bringing all the action from Leederville Oval. as the ball comes out towards right half forward. Off hands, in fact, out of bounds. So the last touch rule, so it'll go the way of Subiaco. A lot of numbers down the line, and that ball hangs high in the air and into the grateful arms at the back there of Dowrick. She's got room to manoeuvre. Hand pass over the top towards fourth. She's had probably 5 or 6 touches in this term. Kicks up towards Testa. She corralled her opponent, but Subiaco clear. As Piscaneri, that's a rare fumble for her, but still does well. Just fires out the left-hand hand pass off towards the teammate. They can kick down the line, and another contested mark taken by Subi. This is Dowrick onto the left boot. Just had a little too much mayo on it, and Claremont with a rare intercept mark in their defensive 50. Poor marking, poor players are getting on the mark there. That allows the kick, but it's going to ask a lot of the Claremont player. Well, she held on to Laura Pugh. The umpire said no. She had a good first term. Back into her hands now, composed. Fires it off by hand. The kick comes out wide. Looking now for the Claremont player in Dickey, and she's going to try and walk the tightrope and just out of play. That was good tenacity shown by Mahoney, and she forces the stoppage just between the broadcast wing and left half forward.
Really impressed with Kate Orm's footy intellect. Able to just change her decision there just to hit the open space towards the boundary. Really neat.
So Claremont have managed to stop the bleeding. 2 unanswered goals. Piscaneri again. Out towards the teammate in Miller. So much time to gather. Awkward spinning kick. Just drops on the paint of 50. Coming out to meet it now is fourth. She feeds it back now towards Stubbs. Slung in the tackle. Back to fourth. Could almost say it was back and forth, but I don't want to use a pun this early, Clint. As it comes back now. Oh, showing a bit of candy there. The Subi player onto the left boot there was Dowrick. Up towards the contest. How will Honjul try and do this? She's outnumbered 2-on-1. Kick around the corner. Touched off the boots.
Must have been Honjul. Good stuff.
Tell you what, we've had some nominations for points of the year, haven't we? Some scrambled touch balls on the line, and that was fantastic work. One out in their goal square, and well done Orm as well, just managing to get
2.5 weeks of cardio too for Honjul with Tani Testa strapped between, or with the ball between her and the goals. Tani Testa very dangerous.
Out towards Laurie, through her hands, only now to the agency of Devlin. Looks to just centre the play. Was that a free kick? Yes, it was a high shot, so Subiaco will get a set shot, and it will be taken by Sarah Lewis. And a chance to go back. It'll be kicking into a slight breeze as she looks a little bit of a shake of the head. She'll have to regather another chance. This could be 3 unanswered goals for Subiaco.
Okay, I will hear about it if I say the wrong thing here, because she'll let me know. She is a fantastic contested mark.
Yeah. Accurate kick for goal?
This she's a bit shaky from this distance.
Yeah, she's got a long kick, but set shots are normally
Wow!
not her strength.
Oh, will it just get there? No, it'll be touched on the line
That
again.
was a lovely shot, though.
It was.
Sarah Garstone using every centimetre of 175 frame to get up there and get a hand on the ball. So a couple of breaks here for Claremont, despite trailing by 3 even goals. So a long, high clearing kick. Good mark again. This is Brooke White. She's taken a few good contested marks. That's a beautifully weighted kick. Finds the teammate in Timmers. So Timmers wants to go towards Laurie, unfortunately, into that breeze, and it just drops short into the arms of Rode. So Rode's got option short, and that's where she goes. Controlling the play now, Golisano.
Another 45 in the middle.
Lim.
She goes straight and over the head again and into the arms of the Claremont defender. So running around the mark is Pugh, kicking up towards the broadcast wing. Numbers for Subiaco at the moment. Filicamo, well done. Contested footy, just fed it out the side door to Rode. So Rode kicks up towards half forward. That is a well contested mark. That's Dowrick. Now she's got a teammate screaming for the footy in Rode, just at left half forward, and instead just goes in towards Lim, and she marks. So good centering play. We haven't seen that today. We've just been seeing a lot of kicks down the line. So she lowers the eyes out towards the lead and finding fourth, but the umpire didn't pay the mark. Can they get a second bite of the cherry? Little kick outside now. Can Lim gather? She does. Lost her feet, fed it off by hand. Stubbs around the corner, up towards the goal square. No mark taken. Well done. Good composure. See how the ball will bounce because it could be coming back. So the kick up towards the right pocket and couldn't take the mark was Honjul. Her hand pass is only going to go as far as Stubbs lost her feet. She's set upon. Ball pinballs around at the moment. Claremont finally with a bit of composure. And they can slow down the tempo through Colgate. So Colgate goes very high. 9 irons outside the 50. Knew what she was doing the whole time and finds Timmers. She's coming alive. Kicks to a 2-on-1, however. Good spoil on the footy. Here's Piscaneri. She's been all over the ground at the moment. Busts through 2 tackles and just lowers the ice beautifully and finds Filicamo, who marks in front of her opposing number in Colgate. And that's a beautiful kick as well. So Subiaco, their foot skills at the moment have been superb. Can Road continue that? You bet she can. Out to the lead now and finding Renee fourth. So 9 games with the Adelaide franchise and 5 with the GWS outfit. And her first game back for Subiaco. She's going back with intent at the moment. So kicking into a very, very slight breeze. This for 3 unanswered goals and the biggest lead of the afternoon. Onto the right boot. And it just holds up in that breeze. Off hands now. This is Pugh. She's had a lot of the football in this term. That kick will hug the boundary line and just bounce in. So finding touch. And the umpire said it's off hand. So we will have a boundary throw in.
Must have called it just out.
Yep.
But just inside the 50 there, so it didn't count as a last possession. Under a lot of pressure here, Claremont. Can't find that outlet to connect to, Ellie.
No, they're really struggling. They hit one target outside 50. It's that next kick that's really letting them down. Subi are more deliberate and more direct to a leading hit-up target. And Subi are reading Claremont's kicking way too easily. They need to change up how they're going to go forward.
So the 2 rucks battling for it at ground level. Going to pick themselves up. Laurie does well. Can she gather on the second time? Well done. That was a good hand pass. Kick was smothered, however. Out now towards Piscaneri. A left-hand hand pass missed its intended target. Kick off the ground there was missed by Subiaco, but that's a great attack on the footy there from Miller. Smothered. Can have a flying shot at goal. That'll miss everything to the right-hand side, but that was a fantastic attack on the football, Clint.
Gave the viewers just some slight body language that she didn't feel she'd hit that one as well as she'd like to, but dangerous signs with Miller swooping in on the ball inside 50. Beautiful read and great defence just to keep this game so squashed, and the Tigers are really in trouble here in terms of their transition.
Well, they've got to weather the storm. There's still 3 minutes remaining until the half-time siren, and finally they can hit a target coming out of towards the defensive 50. That's Pugh. So she goes right foot kick up again to a contested pack. No marks taken. In on the scene there is Zeliger. I haven't called her too much this afternoon.
It's that second kick out of defence that Claremont are really struggling with. They're not connecting with anyone or changing their angles.
They have finally stretched the game out long.
Yeah, their Subiaco defenders are so smart. They'll just read the play and sit off their opponent to where the ball's getting kicked in long.
Zadnik with a kick 50 metres. That was a kicking for space and an effective one at that. How's their forward line pressure now? Good at the moment from Brooke White. She's been impressive for the Tigers. In tight there in the contest is Zeliger. Her second touch of the afternoon, and that kick will come back and into the arms of the Tigers. So can they get their reward? They're still looking for their first major. Was there a push in the back there or a leg? Yes, said the umpire right on the scene. So they'll get a shot on goal, although you'd say it's going to be too far out to score for Paris Laurie. So she's going to assess her options.
Wait for a hit-up lead.
And she drops it onto her right boot. That was an awkward spinning ball into the arms of Lynn. Lynn goes to barrel. We like to see that. Right in towards the middle of the ground, but there's just a pack of Tigers at the moment. Off by hand from Garstone. Still got time to just stop, prop. That was Orm. Kicking out towards her left there. Still with time, so it'll come back to Orm. That's a better kick. And honouring the lead there of Zeliger, who marks. 3 kicks from home and kicks straight in to that player on the mark. This is Stubbs now at ground level. That's going to go very high. Bit of a flare in towards the middle of the ground. Going in courageously was Goodwin Wissing. Couldn't rope in the mark. They'll kick forward, however, the Tigers through Orm, but it's going to be chopped off again, and that's been a feature of their play, unfortunately, throughout the afternoon. And here comes Subiaco. Surgically making incisions. 45-degree kicks has been a feature of their game. Filicamo had a great first term. Kicks wide. She had 2 options on that far side of the ground. As we're in the closing minute now of this first half. And they kick down the line. Good spoil on the footy there from Roden Zimdal. Can they keep it alive? Pugh, she's been excellent in this term, taking a good Stubbs tackle and out of play. So a ball in, and you would suggest that it wouldn't be an addition to the score as we're inside the last 30 seconds now of this first half. So Subiaco will go in with a very handy lead as Piscaneri just grabs it out of the ruck. 40-metre right foot drop punt up towards half forward. In goes Pugh. Was she taken high? No, said the umpire. That allowed great tackle and chase again by the Claremont player in Garstone, but it's in the back, said the umpire. So just 10 seconds, so there will be a chance for Subiaco towards Tester. Through her hands, she felt that she was taken high, but there's a snap around the corner, and that is absolutely gut-wrenching right on the siren for Subiaco. I think it was Mackenzie Dowrick, was it, Clint? Literally on the siren, becoming the 4th individual goal kicker for the Lions, and that's got to break the hearts of the Tigers as they go into the main break.
Yeah, didn't deserve that last one, but very good work by Subi. Renee Forth just appealing to the umpire for a free kick while Mackenzie Darrick just decided to play footy. It was a fantastic snap from the left footer. She's off the chain, unfortunately, too, for Amber Goodwissing, because that's the first time she took the front spot and was able to really compete with Darrick, but then lost her on the turnover. The Tigers worked really, really hard in that quarter, but just the gameplay and the locking out of the gown, the rounding out and rebounding of Subiaco, just really, really impressive.
So we are at the main break. Round 6, top of the table clash, but it's all maroon and gold at half-time here at Leederville Oval. Subiaco 4-3-27, a 4-goal advantage over the Tigers. We'll be right back for all the action in the second half.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Welcome back to Leederville Oval. Matt Chechens, Clint Degebrot and Ellie Lampkin welcoming you back to half-time at the top of the table clash. It is Subiaco with a 4-goal lead. They got one literally in the last gasp of that second term. They kicked 3 unanswered goals and currently lead 4 goals, 3-27 to just 3 behinds. And Subiaco, Clint, doing a much better job of capitalising on their forward 50 entries.
Got the whole ground covered off Subiaco, rebounding really well. They've got their back 5 up in the U shape, then they're forming the same shape with their mids, making transition very hard. And the longer they spend time in forward, the higher they walk their opponents up the ground. So in terms of defence, they're walking their opponents up out of the ground, and it's very hard for them to transition. On
the other side of the ground, Ellie, at the moment, Claremont just butchering the ball, particularly with that connecting kick inside their own forward 50.
Yeah, they're really struggling to get that second kick out of defence, so they're just trying to go quick and long, and they just need to take their time and wait for a hit-up lead like Subi are doing. It's a wet day, and their Subiaco backs are just way too experienced and just read the flight of the ball.
Just having a look at that goal of the day nomination already for Danica Piscaneri, just busted through a couple of tackles, and this was sensational from Devlin. A tight angle, 37.3 metres as called by Clint, and to a vacant square, and that allowed 2 unanswered goals, and we thought that Claremont were going to hit back through Zoe Timmers. Unfortunately, the ball was touched on the line. So at half-time, it is Subiaco 4-3-27 leading Claremont just 3 behinds. We'll be right back, but now, thanks to Optus, let's take a look at a great story highlighting the talent to come out of country WA with 3-time Subiaco Premiership captain Cole Horsley's journey from the goldfields of Kalgoorlie to the WAFL.
I developed my competitive nature growing up in Kalgoorlie. When you grow up in country towns, you play all sports you can, and then when you sort of have a bit of talent in them sports, you sort of get pushed up levels and you start playing senior footy from a young age. And I think when you go up to levels like that in country towns, you're playing for sheep stations.
Without me being too parochial, it's a very, very good, strong, tough competition. He was an outstanding footballer, and then to be an outstanding footballer, that's why he won Mitchell medals. And Cole was able to achieve that in his first year of senior football in Kalgoorlie.
For me, the moment I sort of realised that I could have a future playing football and that I could move down to Perth and hopefully achieve playing WAFL football, and then obviously I think every kid dreams of that AFL, the step to the AFL. Fortunately enough, I ended up winning the association medal in Kalgoorlie that year and spoke to a few representatives from Subi, and they asked if I'd be interested in moving down, and yeah, obviously I jumped at that, and yeah, haven't looked back since I moved up. The transition from Kalgoorlie to Perth was obviously really scary, and it's hard to take that step, and you spend your whole time constantly thinking what can go wrong instead of looking at the optimism and how much enjoyment you can get.
He followed his dream. I can remember the conversation, and I remember subsequently years later him telling me how nervous he was about coming to talk to me about wanting to move to Perth to give his footy a crack.
It's the perfect season, and perhaps the sweetest premiership of all.
Yeah, being obviously a premiership captain at a club that I love in Subiaco, and it's something you probably don't overly think about when you're playing. But the more I reflect on it, and the closer I get to the end, the more I think about what we achieved as a group, and then how our group was bonded and formed, and how the culture of the club's formed.
So when Kyle lifted that Premiership Cup, particularly the last one, showed how determined he was to actually achieve that. He'd set himself a goal as a young man that that's what he wanted to do. Everyone's very proud of him, and I think people in Kalgoorlie sort of own Kyle a bit because he was such a popular person in the community as a kid growing up.
I'm so fortunate to grow up in a place like Kalgoorlie where there's so many good, genuine people around, and there's so much trust, and it's a really good place to grow up and spend your formative years.
Perth City skyline here at the picturesque Leederville Oval. However, it's a little gloomy at the moment. 18 degrees, showers throughout the afternoon, but it's managed to hold off throughout half-time. Welcome back, Matt Chechens, Clint Degebrot and Ellie Lampkin here for this round 6, which is currently top of the table as we have a look at the ladder for the Women's WAFL Optus season for 2019, the inaugural one. At Subiaco 3-1, and you'd say, Clint, that they've got a fair hand on their 4th win of the season.
Yeah, it'd be a big way back here from Claremont. No, it's not beyond them at all. Highly skilled team that can run. Subi in the driver's seat, that's for sure.
Now we need to keep in mind that Swan Districts played Peel, that battle at the foot of the table last night, and Peel registering their first win of the season, defeating Swan Districts, who unfortunately could just kick the one goal. It was 8-5-53 to 1 goal 4-10. So great to see Peel becoming our final team to register a win in the inaugural season, Ellie.
Yeah, and they had a fair few of their better players out who were representing WA in the under-18s competition. So they must have brought in some more senior players to fill those roles, and obviously worked. So
Subiaco will take on East Fremantle next week, and Claremont will take on Swan Districts. Clint, we have to take the ladder with a bit of a pinch of salt throughout the season, as we've obviously got the bye, but also a small number of teams as well.
Yeah, so it's just starting to form itself now, and in the sort of next 3 weeks, I think we'll tell the story. I've liked Subiaco from the start. They were first to adapt the 16-a-side. and they instantly started playing with their age profile of the team as they brought in new blood and have started to just bring on some younger players in Beck Viney and Rio Matchlin. So they're doing a fantastic job in terms of this season, so I'd expect them to continue to build. Claremont, real surprise package because they are talented and they just seem to hit their straps at the right time over the last 3 games. And then the really exciting thing in that game between Swans and Claremont is they were pretty good against each other last time, so that will be match of the round.
Well, we'll see how Claremont respond. We'll go to another break. When we come back, a lot of work for the Tigers to do. They trail by 4 goals here at Leederville Oval. Don't go anywhere.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Leederville Oval, rain is holding off at the moment. Subiaco with a 4-goal edge. 4 goals, 3 to Claremont. Just the 3 behinds, but Claremont have been the form team. We expect them to bite back in this second half. Matt Chechens, Clint Degebrot and Ellie Lamb can bring you all the action. Round 6 of the inaugural WAFLW season brought to you by Optus. Let's have a look at the Tigers. What do they need to do, Clint, to get back into this contest? We know they've got the talent to do it.
I think in simple terms, they need to get their hands on the football and they need a bit of control. So I'd like to see them, obviously they need some clearances and play a bit of time in their forward half. I'd love to see them do a bit of kick and catch. If they can get some control over the ball, get some tempo, get to the other side of the ground, and just see if they can get it on their terms for a bit of confidence, a bit of a break, and just sort of nick away at this lead. A bit hurried and a bit too quick at different times, which is playing the Subi's hands.
Conversely, Ellie, Subiaco, you would suggest that the message at half-time is steady as she goes, continue to go.
Yeah, of course. If the weather, it's not going to dry up anytime soon. The sun's not coming out, so the kick and catch game that they're playing at the moment, hitting that 45, and then just waiting for a good hit-up target. I don't think they're going to stray too far away from that at the moment. And Piscaneri was starting to get quite dominant late in that second quarter, so that's something that they need to. Claremont need to tighten up.
Had a massive second term and using her athleticism around the ground, and that goal where she just gave the don't argue to 2 Tiger defenders, Clint, and then snapped truly was a feature of the afternoon as we see the Tigers head back out onto the ground. We can go through the goal kickers. Filicamo was the first goal kicker of the afternoon in the first term for Subiaco, and then we saw I think it was Dowrick and Devlin and also Piscaneri, as we said before. 3 unanswered goals for Subiaco, season with that 4-goal edge at the moment, as we're just having a look at the Tigers commencing their warm-up. Some of the players that caught your eye in that term for both teams?
Oh, I'm really liking Laura Pugh, and Leah Maskell got up and going too. A two Fremantle defenders, terrific players, very steady and composed players. Just having a look at the Claremont side there, Jasmine Stewart and in the middle of the ground with Paris Laurie, that there is a way back for the Tigers here, and it's with some slick and clean ball movement from the centre. Jazzy Stewart gets up and going. She can have 8, 9, 10 possessions really, really quickly. And Paris Laurie could be the one that start feeding her.
The loss of Emily Bonza today is really evident at this stage, particularly on we have a look at the scoreline, but also just with that bit of cleanness around the contest.
Yeah, just I think in the face pressure she provides, Subiaco midfielder's got a little more time than they'd have if she was around. And you're right, her work rate inside and works back really hard. She doesn't give anyone a free run.
And around the ground, she's very dangerous. She'll be at the contest in a split second. She's the one kicking the goal. So
Sophie McDonald too can't play today because she was in the 18s. She'd be slotted there at centre half back. She'd have a calming influence on the back 6 too. And Isabella Lewis, who also unavailable because she's played 18s. She'd be handy up front to trap that ball in.
Paris Laurie with the captain duties today. She's been outpointed by Danica Piscaneri hands down today. What does she need to do? How does she need to adapt her game? Because she's such a damaging player around the ground, Piscaneri. The skipper today needs to step up.
I think Paris won the first quarter. She was actually quite dominant in the ruck work, but Piscaneri around the ground, that's where she's getting her. So and then started to win the ruck tap. So Paris just needs to go back to what she was doing in the first quarter.
I think they're both better ruckmen than I am or ever was. I'd love to see Paris Laurie jumping and trying to cross the circle with her jump. Piscaneri likes to sort of be a little bit grounded, so if I was ruck coaching over at the Tigers, I'd be asking Paris Laurie to cross the circle and see if she can't get up early and crash into a Piscaneri a little bit.
Big weekend for the both of you. Talk us through. It's been a big weekend.
Yeah, into work early on Friday, setting up for the match versus Queensland for the 18s at 2 o'clock, and then into camp. Ellie running scoreboards and headsets and comms and all that kind of things behind the scenes. Then having a match day role, wearing a headset, if you believe it or not, on the bench, trying to make sense of the coaching box to the runner and the players. Then overnight, Saturday, game of a day of sort of trying to get the players to relax and recover, and then into the match this morning, and then across to the WAFLW. So if you love your footy, it's just a terrific job.
Where to now for the state 18s? Their young ladies.
Medical checks tomorrow.
Yep.
So they'll be passed out to return back to their clubs. They'll do a week of work with their WAFLW clubs. They'll be available for a game or two. They'll come back to us again into camp, and they fly out on the 5th of July for the Gold Coast for the preparations for matches on 8th, 10th and 12th against Vic Metro, the Central Allies and Vic Country to finish.
Beautiful.
It's a big week of footy.
Yep. And obviously we wish the young ladies all the best. But an ideal start.
We get back and we've got state match against Queensland on the 20th of July, which will feature again a lot of players that are staying out here again. So that'll be another WAFLW All-Stars match versus Queensland, who'll be wearing the Suns colours. So it'll be the Suns' first dress rehearsal against WA. It'll be at Swan District's Oval Steel Blue on the 20th of July.
You've both been at the coalface of the competition. What's the feedback been from the community with the inaugural season?
From our perspective, 7-0 means that our players have been prepared very, very well for this. So in terms of talent preparation, could not be happier. Feedback from the community is that it's a better brand of footy to watch. Feedback from
a couple of the big wigs too from the AFLW circles have come down this afternoon, just in front of us.
You got LD in front of us, the coach of West Coast Eagles, and Chad Morrison, Premiership player and head recruiter.
So Trent Cooper floating around.
We did have Trent Cooper down there too. We had Wade Spilker and Darren Fry at the ground. They're a very, very supportive group of both the WAFLW and the 18s and 16s programs. Here's Trent Cooper as we speak.
Well, the Tigers, will they stand up, or will this be an avalanche of goals? It will be underway, and we begin how we ended that second term with Piscaneri with a decisive knock. She tries to win it down at ground level, sliding in on hands and knees there. The Tiger on baller, out the back now. Going to be gathered by the Tigers player who was wrapped up in a good tackle. That's a good double tackle there on Piscaneri. And another ball up. You would say that the first goal vital for the Tigers, as the temperature's notably dropped off now, down towards 16 degrees here at Leederville Oval. Can they get something going? Slick part of the ground. Good attack on the footy there, and a great smother by Hayley Miller. She came to life in that second term. Dumped on her back in the tackle, and here come the Tigers. So first foray inside 50. They can't take the mark, but they're going to bottle it up. Bit of a high fend off from the Subiaco player, but they're going to let them play. So just outside the paint of defensive 50. Strong tackling. So you can see the attitude. Will he get the reward from the umpire? Not on this occasion. So the Tigers starting positively.
I reckon when your ponytail hits your cervical vertebrae, you've got a high fend off.
It's a good tackle from Urseg. Here come the Lions. Was that a throw? No. Kick partially smothered, straight up and down, and another smother again. So the Tigers coming out with a bit of determination. They're going to win it on this broadcast wing. Feeds the hand pass off towards Garstone. She has to kick hurriedly up towards a one-on-one. Good body work there from the Tigers player in Timmers. Thought that she kicked a goal in that second term, only for it to be touched right on the line. So she kicks up towards the pocket. Metcalf trying to lead the way, and ball's out of play. So we'll have a stoppage. A chance for the Tigers to register their first. Almost ticked over 2 minutes here. Subiaco to the right of your screen. The Tigers to the left.
Dangerous player in Alana Dickey floating around the contest. Very smart player, waiting for someone to go to her.
So very, very shallow throw in from the boundary umpire. Must have just hung up in the breeze. Piscaneri, interesting kick, comes in dangerously back in towards the middle. Can Metcalf gather? She can. Feeds off the hand pass. Too hot to handle. Have to go in again with a second effort. They come piling in. Stacks on the mill, and we have another stoppage. So the Tigers, 3 inside 50s, yet to reap the rewards. Ball will come back up. No decisive whack from the ruckman, but a clearing kick. How will the ball bounce? Kindly for Subiaco. They get a hurried right foot kick in towards the middle of the ground. One way then the other. Busting onto it was Orm. She kicks up towards the pocket and tracking the footy back and gratefully seeing it over the line is the Lions defender. So the first score of this third term to the Tigers, 0-4 on the scoreboard.
The Tigers are really dangerous when they lower their eyes and hit up their leading forwards, especially Metcalf. So they keep bombing it in long. It's just going to play into the Subiaco defence's hands.
Good mark from Blackmore, and interestingly just played on. She judged that mark so well, and that'll be out of play. So free kick going the way of the Tigers. Alana Dickey, 3 goals in the season. Just moves it laterally into Kate Orm's grateful arms. Couple of leads further afield. That kick towards the contest. Great sport on the footy there from the Subiaco player in Golisano. That allowed the clearance now. 2-on-1. Hongel's one of them. Off the back of the pack. Just trying to crash her way through there. Jai Saria. Slung in the tackle there, the Subiaco player. Numbers at the back of this contest favour Claremont. That's great vision. Moving the ball laterally now to Orm. So she's starting to get a bit of the ball in this third term. She kicks beautifully. And onto the chest there of Chloe Colgate. So 3 kicks from home. A couple of players open on the arc of 50, but ignored. Instead, she goes to a 2-on-1, and the kick will be intercepted by Hayley Miller. She's had a pretty solid game. However, that kick up towards a 2-on-1, Piscaneri and Colgate. Piscaneri just gets rid of Colgate. That allowed Filicamo to collect the crumbs. She kicks up again and gains another 15 metres of territory for the Lions, where we have another stoppage.
Yeah, it's interesting decisions that some of the Claremont players are making, trying to go wide when they had an option, just go straight down the middle to Paris Laurie by herself, top of the arc.
4.5 played. Hand pass smothered coming out there on the wing from Claremont. Filicamo soccers off the ground and almost into the back of her own teammate in Devlin. And Devlin will hand it back to the umpire for another stoppage. So Laurie just spins away, just ushered Piscaneri under the football, off hands again, another ball in.
Just the Claremont forwards here need to reset. They're too high and they've got nowhere to travel. Conversely, Subiaco have got a very good chance through Lyndall Road on the outside just to open this game open and attack on the far corridor, or far side of the corridor.
One down, fresh air shot from Blackmore. Kick forward by Subiaco, only as far as the Tiger player in Urseg. Now she kicks up towards the bullseyes in the middle of the ground. Running it at pace was Timmers. Tries to worry her opponent out of the footy. In on the scene also, the Claremont player was giving away the free kick, and it'll go the way of Subiaco into the hands of Mahoney. So Mahoney chips further. This has been a feature of the Subiaco game. This is Road. Road, 45-degree kick again, and honours the lead now of Devlin. Devlin just wastes no time and unfortunately wastes the kick straight down the throat of Laura Pugh. That's been one of the better players so far for the Tigers. So no one's standing on the mark. She looked to chip toward Honjul. The ball just held up and allowed there the closing speed there of Filicamo 2-on-1 favouring the Tigers. Hongel's game today has been impressive.
She has, Tester. She's really nullified Tester, or at least given the defenders, the deeper defenders, a chance to actually get some delay on the ball service, and they've done some job. Particularly this quarter, they're defending much higher to the Tigers.
Stubbs wrapped up in the tackle.
But see, they've lengthened out the game, so Tester now in the square, so they own the length of this game.
We'll see if they can get anything from this stoppage. Subiaco, hand pass out towards Filicamo, her second effort, but her kick was smothered. Piscaneri again. Just goes one way then the other. Just kicks sort of errantly up towards a contest, but gained a lot of meterage. Well done there, the Claremont defender in Orme. Managed to gain another 50 metres. Back inside now. Now, what can Claremont do? There's no one forward, almost at the bullseyes at the moment, so they've got to just take their time. Urseg getting a lot under it. Bit of a flare. Out towards a teammate now in white. Can she gather? No, she's going to be beaten to the football there by Golisano. And they come head to head. And then the 2-on-1 almost in the back. And the umpires letting them go. Interesting
favourite
work
type of
there
tackle,
from Caitlin Walker.
The old fall on top of the photo. You get a stat for that too.
So the ball will come up. Piscaneri with the left hand. Won it down towards the teammate at Harkin. Haven't called her much today, but her hand pass looking for a teammate out wide there at half back and out of play.
Harkin often gets a run with roll, so it'll be interesting to see who she's got to and how much they're getting hold of the footy. She looks to be on Valentini. Haven't seen too much of her today so far.
So a good nullifying effort at the moment. Laurie with a win in that contest, or through the hands of Pugh, and that's going to allow a chance for Subiaco now. How can they use this? That was a good contested mark, going back with a flight of the ball by Dowrick. So Dowrick just transfers play. He's got a teammate on that far side. They're just looking to slowly build at the moment. 4 players in the arc of 50. Gets very close to the player on the mark. Gives it there. Big pack of players. How will it spill? Now the players starting to lose their foot, but Hongel, that was brilliant. We mentioned her before. Great pickup in these conditions. So they bring it out towards left half back. How will it sit up? It sat kindly in the end for Robertson. Receded a little ground back to Orme. Her kick up to a 3-on-1 on the wing. Now Laurie's got to come over. She did well. Worried her opponent out of the footy. Almost threw it out the side of the pack. Still into the hands now of Roden Zimdal. She fell to ground right at the wrong time. So that allows Subi a momentarily clearing kick. The big don't argue. That was superb work there from Dickey. Fed it off to the teammate, but the kick was literally stolen off her boot. Well done by Miller. She's done that a few times today. Kicks up towards full forward. Players go to ground. Now Subiaco got a number over the back. Players going to be ignored. The flying shot for goal hits the post with Tester wide open in the goal square, Clint.
Was a chance to make best friends with each other, those two. And Renee Forth's first game back, they haven't played together at the Coastal Titans either previously. Both here at Subiaco at different times in their careers.
So the Tigers dodge a bullet because Tester literally had no one on her. She's like a chess piece all alone in the square. So the kick smothered. Here's Piscaneri. She's got a penetrating kick. Elects to just go to Stubbs with a hand pass. Great tackle on her. Incorrect disposal. Hongel on the scene again and wins the free kick at left half back. So her and Pugh really flying the flag at the moment in a losing outfit at this stage, and that's a good mark. Better signs from the Tigers, it must be said. White, interesting kick in towards the middle. Time and space for Zeliger. Can she do something with it? She can in the end, but used a lot of time. That's Urseg. Now she kicks out towards the teammate in Urseg. Can she gather? She can. Loses her feet. A one-on-one. This is an important contest to win. Now she roped that one back in. We'll wait on the umpire's decision. Waiting a long time and rightfully pinging the player. So holding the ball. And the recipient will be Rode.
2 kids playing at the park, trying not to get in trouble by mum by being too rough.
So Rode winning the free kick and will be turning it over. Pugh with a bit of
basketball.
Yeah, circus. Her old man was a very, very handy player. Kicks out towards the outer side of the ground and a good mark again. They're standing up across half back. That was Rode. Now, there's a Claremont player down on the ground. That's Brooke Urseg, and holding her left ankle. So we hope she's okay. Clearly in a bit of distress. So
it's never a good sign when the players around are concerned. So thoughts with that young lady who's had a little bit of a rough trot. She's probably had the best pre-season of her career. Got banged on the turf 2 weeks ago. Got a little concussion, had the week off, and into this game today. And it doesn't look good. Look, as you said before, Matt, the Tigers just starting to generate their play through the centre of the ground.
Yep.
Just keep going to one-on-ones on the far side. It's the right idea. Ellie, a little too wide onto the far side, maybe into track 4 instead of outside track 4.
Yeah, they're really trying to change their angles of the way they come into the forward 50 by getting it really wide. I probably agree that they need to maybe go the corridor instead of going all the way to the other wing. But they are trying to hit up some players, and they know that the Brook was outside and always going to stay wide.
Seems an intelligent move because they're getting it out to Timmers, who seems to have the legs on Walker.
Yes, she does. She's running it out. It's just that last kick again, trying to hit up a target in that forward 50 instead of bombing it long, which they're actually making Subiaco do. So playing against the game style that they wanted to do in the second quarter. So there's more pressure on the ball carrier, so they're bombing it more into the forward 50.
Yeah, so they've called for the stretcher here, so there'll be an extended delay in the game, just as you see the huddles come together. It'll be a bit of a chance to reset, probably help Subiaco just get a breather in and get their plan put back in place. And the Tigers would have to try and shake this off because they've been solid, and they just need to continue what they're doing. I like Alana Dickey high on the open side of the ground, the fat side of the ground. She's having to do so much bullocking work at the moment and so much the contested work that she's not actually able to get free and high at the moment.
Yeah, she's that forward that's playing really high up into the contest, at the stoppage and almost into the back line. So you get the ball in her hands. She's very smart, very good user of the footy. If you get her and Orm start creating play from the half back line, they're going to start being really dangerous going forward.
And Garstone's got onto Mackenzie Darrick and stifled her influence just a little. Won't keep her down for too long, of course.
Of course not.
And Jasmine Stewart just taking this chance to come off the bench for a little break, hopefully a little sip of Gatorade, and we can see little maestro from Fitzroy and Kalgoorlie get her engine room going over at the Tigers. Kate Orm has come into the game too in that defensive post, and Lilia Maskell continues to play. Laura Pugh is one of the better intercept defenders in the competition.
Yeah, and just watching her just take a clunk with one hand out before, she definitely reads the flight of the ball really well, knows when to drop off her opponent and knows when to stay close and impact on her direct opponent.
So Brooke Urseg, unfortunately, with what appears to be a lower leg injury on the left leg, has been stretched off the ground, and lovely sportsmanship and a nice touch going past the Subiaco huddle, and they gave her a big round of applause. So we wish her all the very best. We really don't like seeing players having to be stretched off the ground, and the team there at Claremont, she's in good hands at the moment. So we wish her all the very best, but we're ready to go back to the action, and it will be a free kick going the way of Subiaco after that holding the ball decision. Lyndall Road.
Champion netballer Road.
So kicks up towards the wing. Tigers with the possession now as they kick long and high down the line, and solid fist on the footy there, getting across. Good covering defence from Caitlin Walker from Railway Football Club. Sees the ball out of play.
Got our wish. There's Alana Dickey playing in the high five role on the far side of the ground. She's just come back to see if she can get a connect at top of 50.
Yeah, Claremont have to be really careful here going forward. They've got a spare player, Subiaco, in their forward line. And it's a very dangerous player, and Liam Maskell who's going to read this ball.
Here come the Tigers, just inside their attacking 50. Can they try and get something from this? No, they won't. And again, another stoppage. So
just some little fumbles here and there from the Tigers. Just as they're ready to go, they just can't quite get it into the Dukes.
So bright sunshine bathing the ground at the moment. The first time we've seen that this afternoon, but the ground is very, very soft underfoot. As you can see, the players almost like they're on ice at the moment. Laurie trying to jar that footy loose. Filicamo now with a clearing kick in towards the bullseyes. Through the arms there of the Tiger player in Zadnik. Couldn't gather, but did well. Still trying to keep possession. That's a good sweeping hand pass. Out wide now to Scandretti. She has to recede a little bit of ground off towards Orm, and Orm's kick intercepted, but it was touched off the boot, says the umpire. So Filicamo was set upon, and they'll have to ball it up. Unfortunately, Filicamo didn't hear the call, and the Tigers converged on it. So ball up. Just the one behind for the Tigers. Kick smothered well there by Lim. Kicked again by Colgate. 1-on-1. Both players sitting under the football. Superb mark in these conditions. Claire Ortlip, and waste no time. Looks to bring it outside now. Bit of a bouncing ball for Blackmore. Feeds it off by hand, off one step. Again, this has been a feature, just their composed play. That could almost be 50. Getting the cheeky hand in there was Zelliger.
7-on-2 there, Subiaco.
So Filicamo has it. The umpire blows his whistle, says get on with it. Kicks up towards the leading player in Miller, but it's off hands, out of play.
There's that opportunity again for Claremont to lower their eyes and hit Metcalf on the lead, put it up on her head, just makes it too easy for the defenders.
And the positioning here too, Ellie, of Brooke White allows the two players there from Subiaco in Blackmore and Filicamo to fill up that space.
Piscaneri won it down. Filicamo bumped off the footy. Tries to butter up with a tackle of her own. Colgate manages to win the contested football. Slung off her kick up towards centre half forward. Good composure now. And here come the Lions through the hands of Honjul. They could be out now at the moment because they've got a couple of players streaming forward. So Jai Saria onto the right boot. Now Tester's got a bit of a foot race at the moment with Zadnik, but leading back there was Orm. She's been great in this term. Now she kicks out wide. She's got two numbers there. Will the ball stay in play? It will. So Colgate cops a very good shepherd there from Honjul. Kicks up towards the target who lost their feet, and that allowed Piscaneri to take the intercepting mark on this wing. So she kicks just over the head of the intended target, and there's Honjul again. Maybe bought her own footy this afternoon. She's been superb. Talk her up, and she turns it over. Straight into the arms of Maskell. Can run to 50. 2v1 now at the back for the Tigers. They should be able to mop up, and they do. That's a fantastic kick coming out of their defensive 50. And Leah Ursek takes the mark. Looks to move it further afield now. This is Dickey. Dickey had a teammate screaming for the footy. Running past was Pugh, but she was ignored. So plays on and will turn it over. So Subiaco with a chance to rebound, and they do so. Interesting little chip over the top towards Mahoney. Pugh leading the race out there. She's got a hand pass over the top. She honours that now. This is Robinson. Robinson with some room to operate. Kicks over the top of the intended target, asking a lot of her teammate out on that far side. Good closing speed there from the Subiaco defender. Limbs in there, won the contested footy well. And Filicamo. So it looked as though the Tigers were going to break. Now there's rebound footy on offer for the Lions. How will they use it? They look to bring it in towards the middle. Juggling mark there taken by the Lions player in Devlin. Kicks out. That was good defensive work there from Zadnik. She can gather that ball. Feeds it off by hand. Almost looking for the 1-2. Didn't come back her way, so they've got to kick out towards the 2-on-1 at the moment. And Subiaco will take that stoppage you would suggest by Mahoney. Good strong tackle forcing the stoppage. In fact, has won the free kick.
Holding the ball. Robber just jumping on the footy instead of keeping her feet and trying to move the ball forward.
So after the Urseg injury, they did stop the clock. So we're inside the last 3 minutes of this third term. Both teams have just managed the one behind. It's breaking through the pack beautifully there was Miller. I've liked her game this afternoon. Kicks up towards Jai Saria. She's corralled well there by Honjul. Honjul did well. Just fed it out to the teammate. Can play the 1-2. Brings it back inboard now to Orm so she can kick off a step. That was brilliant. Again, Honjul, superb player. And Alex Robinson can control the tempo now. She kicks down the line. No mark taken. But again, numbers with the Tigers. But it's been this kick that's let them down throughout 3.5 quarters. Rather 2.5 quarters. Got to do my maths right, Clint. As the ball comes off hands. They could be in now because they've got a player over the top, but the kick didn't get there. Subiaco just outnumbering them at the moment. Good strong work. Feeding it off by hand. That kick didn't travel the required distance, so they'll play on. Now they've got 3 players in the middle of the ground. Stubbs doesn't want to use them. Instead just goes back, and we'll just go with that little angular kick out towards the outer side. So just taking a bit of the sting out of this Tigers' efforts at the moment. And they've just really, through all their efforts, Clint, have only just managed to halve this term with 1 minor score apiece.
The work rate is fantastic from the Tigers. It's the mids that are working between in the box. They're working back and forward, back and forward. Unfortunately, can't get a rest with a mark in the front half.
Stubbs plays on, kicks out towards the lead. That's good. Great build-up. Superb play, and taking a good strong mark there is Tani Tester. And she looked just to transfer play, looking for the teammate in Dowrick, and seeing the ball out of play Goodwin Wissink.
Piscaneri was standing alone, 30 metres out in front.
They've missed two targets coming forward. It's rare from them today. Their decision-making's been pretty good.
I think the pressure from Claremont's midfielders on the Subiaco players has increased, so that time to hit up targets inside their forward 50 is reduced, so that means...
Now this would break Tigers' hearts because we've got 20 seconds remaining as Filicamo gets out the right stiff arm, looks to just gain some territory. Honjul leading that race now to gathers the football. Big, strong Shepherd off the ball, but it's going to be chopped off. So 15 seconds remain. How will they use the football? Subiaco, if they can take a mark, which they won't, and Claremont will probably be able to gather their thoughts now and still trail by that 4 goals. That was the half-time margin as they bring it out wide. Good mark, sliding in, hands and knees kind of action from Amanda Robertson, and that is it. We turn for home, 3/4 time, and despite the positive start from the Tigers, Clint, 1 minor score apiece, better signs. So obviously the half-time message from Di Loretto must have stung in the ears for the Tigers. Are they still a sniff as we approach the 4th term?
Yeah, look, 4-goal quarter's not beyond either side here, but of course Subia would have to go to sleep or stop to a walk for the Tigers to be able to run over the top. Di Loretto is very careful, very well spoken coach. Would have pleaded with his team to be a bit smarter with their. I think Ellie called it right during the quarter, just to change their angles and try to change their lines. I think they overdid it a little. I think they went to track 4 from track 1 instead of getting a track 2 or 3. So worked out, almost worked too far to the fat side a couple of times, and of course it denied them their ability to go forward or gain as much ground as they probably intended to do. Trying to intend to use Chloe Metcalf as a high marking contested ball forward, and she's just not that. She needs to be able to lead. So bit of space, +1 from Subi was brilliant.
18 minutes of football remain in this top of the table clash. It is still the Lions by 4 goals. We'll be right back with all the action of the 4th quarter very shortly.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. May need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're lately in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Three-quarter time at Leederville Oval. It is Subiaco maintaining that 4-goal edge that they enjoyed at the main break today, as we see some of the highlights and better signs for the Claremont Tigers, as we can see from some of these little clips here at three-quarter time. Chloe Colgate was pretty active in that term, and Kate Orme as well. We saw a nasty injury, unfortunately, to Urseg, and we lost a bit of time there, but she was stretchered off the ground. But as we said, just 1 minor score to either team as we approach three-quarter time. Not without of reach from the Tigers, but Again, they'll be kicking into a very slight breeze in this term. Matt Chechen's here alongside Clint Dagerbrot and also Ellie Lampkin. How do you see this one panning out? Just 18 minutes of footy remaining in this round 6 clash.
I think we've probably got to talk about Subiaco. We're probably sort of getting in behind the Tigers because we would like make sure that we've got a really good game. But I think Sarah Michelle's plan has been outstanding. I think she's brought a real she's gelled the group again this year. She's stepped back in after a long time not coaching. She's drawn Martine Pearman back, and Martine Pearman's doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the tactics. She's becoming a little bit more out front now in front of the group, which is outstanding. You can see she's got a skip in her step. She's back involved with her beloved team. They're both champions of the footy club, both as players and as
actually
coaches.
bumped into Martine in the car park. I hadn't seen her for a couple of years. She was formerly with my old basketball club at the Perth Redbacks, but an absolutely amazing athlete in her time.
And hasn't aged, I reckon, in 10 years. Still could be running around on the footy field. But also Lauren Stammers down there, very, very intelligent coaching group down there. They've taken the club, they've almost taken the club back. They tried to, and Amy Cottrell too, they've tried to sort of get outside. They've come home. Their favourite daughters and sisters of the club have come in, and I reckon they are just absolutely going beautifully.
We've sung the praises throughout the call through 3/4 of Piscaneri on the ball and her work rate, but Filicamo, she kicked the first of the afternoon and really stepped up in that third term as well.
I made my notes here. You cover off on Dowrick and Devlin gets off the chain. You try to squash down Miller. Filicamo gets off the loop. Then you sort of quieten down Filicamo for 5 seconds. Hayley Miller gets 3 touches. So just too much to handle, too hot to handle at the moment in the midfield. And all the best players from Claremont are playing in the back half. Interestingly too, to close that game out, it was the centre half forward that took the intercept catch and she kicked it to the forward pocket. So really, really having to work to look after each other, the Tigers.
And Subiaco, it's fair to say they had 2 golden opportunities to kick majors in that term, but players ignored right in front of goal. I think Testa was the first one, and then also
Testa missed
Piscaneri as well.
Piscaneri was in a bit of, she was treading water in, I don't know, it might have been shin deep water. It would have been delicious to get it to her and get her a snagger. But I think that would have been mentioned by Cotters, and I reckon Stammers and Sarah Michelle herself would have said, let's make sure we put the Tigers away. We don't need to kick them all ourselves. It's our goals, not your goals.
Yeah, Claremont had a few opportunities themselves going forward, so if they had kicked a few, it would have been a different conversation coming into this last.
Will Subiaco maintain their position atop of the tree, or will the Tigers find another gear in this 4th term and make it 4 wins on the trot? You would probably suggest the former at this stage, but that's a good start for them. They win a holding the ball decision. Strong work from Valentini. In fact, no, it's going back the way of Subiaco. So bit of plyometrics test from the umpires there, trying to keep us on our toes. But nevertheless, here comes Subiaco. Now that's a big bomb from outside 50. How will it bounce? It goes through.
50 metres off one step.
Off one step, if you don't mind. Mackenzie Dowrick into a stiff breeze as well. The Tigers napping, vacant goal square. And maybe Piscaneri's been robbed of goal of the day, Clint. That was fantastic.
It's going to be hard to beat that one. It's one of the only players in the competition that can go the distance from outside the tape. And on the day when there's a bit of mud in that goal square, it just managed to skip through flat. It was lovely.
7 games for Brisbane, Dowrick.
Yep. Played all 7, played at half-back and is now signed with West Coast Eagles, and it will be a feature across half-back into the midfield for them, you'd suggest.
Yeah, Gusto might be happy with that. She was off and running because the umpire pointed
the
wrong way, and Mackenzie benefited for that.
To Valentini's defence, it was Filicamo that jumped on the footy.
Yeah. Likeness to another half-back left-footed player that plays in West Coast Eagles colours as well, with a booming kick. So, well, just what they ordered Subiaco. You would say if there was going to be the door left ajar for Claremont, it's just been shut. They've been phenomenal. Here's Filicamo to Piscaneri. Be tough to pick who's best on ground out of those 2 this afternoon. Kicks up towards 50. And Tigers with time just to mop up. That's Pugh off to a teammate that was about to be set upon. Correct disposal, said the umpire. The Tigers will probably want a stoppage here because they've butchered the ball. However, it comes out the side of the pack. Flying shot for goal, looking for their 2nd of the term.
That's really exciting, that kind of play. Lyndall Road holding that space on the wing really well. And then, 6 metre plus handball breaks open any game of footy, let alone a game of WAFLW. So that's frightening for other sides to see that kind of play in forward 50.
Yeah, Subiaco are very good at pushing their opponents into the contest and then controlling the outside.
Garstone brings the ball back in play. Pitching at the feet there of Scandretti. In turn, just gains another 20 metres downfield, only as far as a Subiaco player in Golisano. Interesting hand pass. You look for a second effort. Couldn't gather. In for the Lions there. Golisano again. Out now to Filicamo, who can snap around the corner towards centre half forward. Bit of a foot race out towards the pocket. Some good strong work there from Jai Saria. Hand passes over the top of her head. Out towards Dowrick. Surely she can't better her last effort. She had the journey, but it was just missing everything to the left.
Might have just hit the wrong side of the footy there, I reckon,
Yeah.
Mac. I wouldn't have a blast from there. I'm more than likely trying to pull that across into the goal square.
Bit of TV time for the youngster. Doing a great job. His hand pass manages to clear the fence. So
I reckon that's a Coates out the back there. I reckon that's Deanne Coates,
I think so.
Jodie White's young son. And there's some football between those two at this footy club.
doing anything to avoid his homework. So the ball will come back into play from the Tigers. Piscaneri set herself 3 deep. Couldn't take the mark. Only as far as Dowrick now. So she kicks interestingly in towards that hot spot. Can the Tigers stand up again? They've already conceded an early goal through Dowrick. Little hand pass out the side. Out towards Jai Saria. That hand pass too hot to handle. And wrapping the Lions player up in the tackle was Laura Pugh. We'll have a ball up. Approaching 4 minutes. Honjul trying to get that kick out of there, but good strong work again from Subiaco. Forward line pressure will force another stoppage, where they've been very good this afternoon.
Very dangerous this side of the stoppage, Filicamo and Piscaneri within striking distance.
See if it can be extracted at the moment. Only as far as the Tigers player, who recedes a little bit of ground. Out comes Dowrick. She's come to play in this 4th term. Her hand pass missing the target. Well done, Laurie. Just fed the little hand pass through the side. Kick around the corner is going to be out of bounds on the full. Almost taking out the trusty cameraman. So Subiaco another chance to reload, as we can see Piscaneri pushing forward out towards the square. We'll see where this kick ends up. Some tall timber down there for the Lions at the moment. So Ellie Blackmore charged with the kick-in duties. 5-5 to 0-4. Almost 5 minutes played, and there it was. I almost called it. No, I did. Juggled effort. Feeds it off by hand. Off to the run there of Miller. Her kick was smothered. Piscaneri trying to do the team thing. Will they get another chance? Filicamo, and there's a push in the back, will go the way of Subiaco.
Both players are still down. That smother from Paris Laurie and Hayley Miller.
I'm hoping it's a tangle of legs caused a couple of corkies there, because they got a bit twisted up. So hopefully just a bump to each of their legs and they'll be okay. Two players that actually know a fair bit about each other too, Miller and Laurie, playing together at Fremantle in the last season. And Laurie was wise to Miller's step there.
Yeah.
Just have to try and stop her though.
So Devlin goes long and high up towards the kick-off line. It's off hands. Kick out of the pack from Jai Saria, I think it was. Wasn't touched, and it's gone through.
Claremont players are pleading with the umpire saying somebody touched it, but...
In fact, it's Tester, so that's the 3rd time I've incorrectly called them, so I apologise to both players, but...
It is. They're exactly the same size, and they're wearing...
And the 24 and the 21.
And they're wearing the same boots.
Yep.
I need to just get them one different coloured boot each, I reckon.
So Tani Tester has managed to kick her 12th of the season after kicking 6 last week. Is the outright leading goal kicker in this inaugural season. So an opportunistic goal, and the Tigers pleading in vain, but classy finish too, wasn't it? In heavy congestion.
She's been threatening. She's been really well minded by a couple of different players. I think Orm's standing her now. Yeah. She's had almost a 2-on-1 down there, and she's been threatening the whole game to do exactly what she just did.
Yeah, Brooke Hongul has been playing on her for most of the game and has been playing on her very well. So they've made the change. Maybe trying to get Hongul up further the ground, try and impact more on their transition out.
She's got 4th at the moment. I feel like Armour's inside work in these situations, just to get repeat stoppages when Subi don't get it their ways. Really, really admirable.
So Claremont with a change on ball. Zadnik's had to come and do some ruck work after Laurie came off the ground. Here comes Subiaco. They'll go forward again, kicking up and over the top of the Tigers defender. And there's Tester, who does the unselfish thing, lowers the eyes and look to square it. Might turn out okay. Swinging shot for goal from 4th. Up towards the kick-off line. No mark taken. Bit of a juggled effort. Good smother on the footy. That time from Orm, the Tigers. But it's still going to come out the way of Stubbs. Her snap around the corner misses, just registering a minor score.
A little rueful look from Lewis there, just thinking I was free at the top of the square.
Yeah, he could have been used, but
We're surprised that Testa played on after taking the mark. I mean, and looking to square the ball.
She looked to have the option. I just think she slightly overkicked the
Yeah.
ball. I think if you had a look at the tape again, the coaching staff would be reasonably happy with her getting a better shot. In hindsight, when you turn that over, I'll just be quiet for a moment as she just does her
That
magic.
is a brilliant mark.
So what does she do this time?
Go back and have a go, surely. Testa, that was a superb mark and good work from Stubbs again too.
Chaser is just trotting in, trying to get top of the square
Mackenzie Darrick's in a great position here.
as well.
It's
Yeah.
going to go with the banana, or if you're from the South Australian parts of the world, a check side. That is superb. 2 in the space of about as many minutes for Tani Testa. That was a brilliant finish.
So you'd suggest that, she shouldn't have kicked past the first one. She should have taken the shot.
How good's hindsight? It's always 20/20, isn't it?
It's one of those things where coaches love it when you kick them, and then when you turn it over passing them, they get upset. If you kick it and get it shallow, they get upset. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But if you do that, everyone just...
13 goals on the season now. She's kicked 2 against Claremont. She kicked 1 against in that round 4 loss when they were rather inaccurate. It looks as though they've avenged that loss today, 7-6 to just 4 behind.
You'll notice Brooke Hongel has made her way back to the goal square.
Yep. That's probably a good change. She has been keeping her quiet all day.
I like Kate Orme being a little free down there too, just personally. I think she sweeps up very nicely
and uses
kicks
the ball so well.
How good is this Lady Bean and Stubbs in this 4th term? Another inside 50 and right.
There's that change.
As we said from Nostradamus, Clint Degebrot, well done, well called. Hongel takes the intercepting mark and just plays on. That's a good, well-weighted kick onto Orme.
Orme freeing up and to use the footy out.
Kicks down the line. Robinson juggling in front of her opponent there, and Devlin. So just looking to take the sting out of this result, which isn't going to help, kicking it into the face of the player on the mark. We're trying to just push her over the boundary line now, and well done there from the Subiaco player. That was Devlin. Smothered the ball. Now they're in over the top. Testa takes the mark. Vacant square. Swings around on the right boot towards a one-on-one. An intercepted mark. Well read by Goodwin Wissink. And she will look to transfer play out towards left half back. Urseg on the stretch.
They're out here. They've got lots of time and space.
And space. They do indeed. So it'll be Zadnik. So Zadnik can have time to afford a bounce. Probably a second one, and does. Bit ambitious on these conditions, but it's worked out well for her. She has to kick up towards the contest at centre half forward. And a whistle. Push out, said the umpire. And that will go the way of the Tigers. Leah Maskell just getting into her opponent there. 2 hands. That was Brooke White. So 4 games for Fremantle. She goes to just transfer play out towards the vacant pocket. Out towards Alana Dickey. She's closed down. Has to kick around the corner. Interesting bounce of the footy. Might favour the Tigers player in Timmers. She was robbed of a goal here in the 2nd term, and that ball just over the paint out of play.
Well thought through by Miller there, just to try and keep that alive, because she did have, she would have taken 50 metres of grass if she had the chance to pick it up.
Yeah. Subiaco covered well then. They had the numbers down in that D50 for them, so they were out.
Paris Laurie's made it back out there too, so must have been a little collision injury.
Inside 7 minutes remaining in the contest. The Lions will boot a game clear of the Tigers at top of the tree. Well done from Lim. That's a contested footy win. Colgate couldn't affect the smother. Ball comes in towards the middle of the ground. Bit of pinball again. Hand pass out towards Pugh. She's pushed off it. In turn goes Colgate. That was well done. Interesting hand pass back towards Pugh. She's set upon. Can just get her right fist to the ball. Tries to lay a secondary tackle. Just getting the toe to the ball there was Stubbs. They say play on. Left foot kick from Goodwin Wissing. Hacked out of the air. No kicking in danger, said the umpire. Out towards Roden Zimdal. Lost her feet. Tigers with numbers. Kicking off 1 step to a 2-on-1 over the top. The Lions try and get numbers back there. Good shepherding off the ball. Allowed her teammate to get the clearing kick there. That was Miller. Out towards this broadcast side. 2-on-1 favouring the Lions. Well done from the Tigers player. It was taking a good tackle in the end and holding the ball. So Alex Robinson was outnumbered, tried to bust through, and was taken in the tackle. And Subiaco a chance to load up. Piscaneri, that's a rare fumble from her. Still has so much time. Can feed it off by hand. Off to the run of Blackmore. Blackmore kicking up towards left half forward. So much time and space for Subiaco to turn and go. That was Harkin. Hontel out the back now. Beats Testa to the football. She was shepherded off it. Brings it out wide, out towards Orme, but over her head. Back in turn to Pugh. To Orme, back to Pugh. Right foot. Up to a 3-on-1. Piscaneri too big, too strong. Over Paris Laurie. And a little chip that has not travelled the required distance. Asking a lot of Dowrick. Onto the trusty left boot. What on Pugh again. Halved that contest. Stubbs in on the scene. Out towards Jai Sarir. Finally got it right, Clint. Kicking up towards full forward, but the intercepting mark.
It's not easy. Emma Goodwin Wissink actually had to dodge the umpire to take that chest mark. Really kept her composure nicely to take it.
So the Tigers waiting for this clock to just continue to wind up. They'll have to regroup. They will take on Swan Districts, who are coming off that surprise loss, as we said at half-time, just yesterday to Peel. So both teams will be looking to rebound.
It's very clever work there. I think it's Claire Ortlip out on the boundary, let it roll over after a kick and that last possession rule, so she gets a free kick for herself.
So intelligent play in towards the pocket, and that will spill out of play. 7-6-48 to 0-4. And they've led from go to woe. And they will register a much-deserved win and sit one game clear. Piscaneri again. Goes the volleyball double-handed spike down towards the pocket. What on Pugh. Just uses her body so well. Off toward Honjul. She's wrapped up in a tackle too high. And earns another free kick.
Just all day, Pugh and Hongu in that back line. Stood up so well. Just unfortunately couldn't get the ball out. The midfielders couldn't help them.
I reckon Renee Forth, affectionately known as Sparky, must know the umps because she spent a lot of time yarning away to them. She didn't like that decision holding the ball. High tackle, because I think she might have got a fend off as well.
And looks as though we're going to have another stoppage as we're just in the waning moments. We're inside the final 4 minutes now.
Claremont totally collapsed over now. They've got every player in the forward half, or even more so. They've got everyone player forward of the bar one forward of the centre square.
Piscaneri, she'd almost be definitely over 30 possessions, you would suggest, on the afternoon. Kicking up towards full forward, and again off the leash at the moment is Testa. And she'll go back, surely a mere formality for her third, but she's been well held, particularly through 3 quarters, just been let off a little with a couple of coaching changes in this term, Clint.
Obviously just trying to shake things up to get their anchor back. They do like Orme in the last post, but Garstone's got back to help out, but you got Dowrick and Devil. You can't be too clever. The +1 around the contest from Subi today has been outstanding. They've actually managed to outnumber at every stoppage, so it's either clever. I can't see how hard they're working. I think they're working really, really smart.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like even when Claremont looked to have switched the ball and to be out, they just seem to be shuffling around the ground. They just don't have the legs to run out this
So
game.
Hales from North Broken Hill Football Club, Testa.
Yeah, has played a bit of footy at South Fremantle Footy Club as well.
Yep.
Has got herself into a really, really good condition at the start of this season, and then she's continued to improve her condition and her results, speaking for themselves. Very, very dynamic and dangerous forward. There's a little bit of Eddie Betts about what she does, because just as soon as you think you've got her under control, she breaks you apart.
And leading out, taking the uncontested mark, was Caitlin Walker from Railway Footy Club. Looks to just head out towards right half back. Trying to track the footy back now is Scandretti, and holding the ball. And ball will come back into the grateful arms of Blackmore, who waste no time. Now Subiaco won by 51 points in the last game. They could be on track for this as they go busting forward again. Sitting under it there was Hongel. Brought it down at ground level. Testa was on the scene but overran it. But she's been brilliant today. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but can really hold her head up high this afternoon. Claremont, can they try and register their first? With just a minute and a half to play. Not with a kick like that, unfortunately. And another intercepting mark. That was Ortlip. Brings it out further wide now as they transfer play. Mrs. Golisano. Golisano just dances around the player on the mark. Kicks awkwardly up inside 50. Well read by Colgate. Receding a little bit of ground. Better build up now. Coming through the boot of Sarah Garstone. Very close to the interchange gates and out of play.
That shows her intellect too, because she wasn't prepared to let that go over, Ortlip, because there was half a chance of someone that wasn't her best mate touching the footy.
Exactly.
Just a quintessential defender with fantastic decision-making ability.
Inside 60 seconds of round 6. Subiaco going to be a game clear. 2 big wins in successive weeks. That was a
big throw that
interesting
got the wrong side of, I think.
cut out pass that you'll probably see in another code.
It was just a little ball on a platter here.
Stubbs with another very good tackle. She's been so good at the coalface this afternoon. Really last chance, roll of the dice for Claremont to try and register that first major. It's going to be repelled. Can they get it moving quickly? They can see the scoreboard. Laurie's got 20 seconds to try and build something at the moment. It's as though they want to just slow down the play. That was Zadnik. Moves it further forward. Inside 10 seconds now. And Subiaco are going to stand up, keep a clean sheet, you would suggest at the moment. Free kick going the way of the Tigers, but it's all in vain. That has been an impressive win from the league-leading Subiaco outfit. Full time, 8-6-54 against the Tigers, who never really stood up in the contest this afternoon. Just the 4 behinds, that margin, 50 points. And Clint, very, very deserved winners this afternoon here at Leederville Oval.
Yeah, just first the footy from pillar to post. Wanted the ball more. Had owned the width and the length of the ground and owned the width of the length of each stoppage. And one-on-one ball winning around the ground. Most impressive at all, and it took me a little while to pick it up, is they just had at least an extra number around the ground. They didn't drop one back behind the ball. They dropped they've got a player into intercept position. But then when you look up, there was no one behind the footy. They all exploded forward. Very impressive.
It was a tight game in the opening term. I mean, just the 1 goal separated. It was 1-1 to just 1 behind. Subiaco with clinging to that 6 points, but then they really set up their win, Ellie, would you agree, in that second term when they kicked 4 unanswered goals heading into half-time?
Yeah, they really got their game going in that second term. They were hitting up targets and waiting for that person to come at the 45, and they just connected really well with each other, and they're really dangerous when they do that, and they're forwards when they're in front.
Yep.
And they know that the ball's going to be delivered into a space that they can run into. It's really hard to defend, and that was the difference today. Claremont going forward, we're just banging it up, and that just suits the Subiaco defenders because they can read the ball so well. They'll drop off at every opportunity to intercept mark.
To their credit, Clint, I should say, the Tigers stood up in that third term. It's just the one behind.
They've got nothing to stress about at all. They've got a very, very quality side, a very, very good defensive unit. Dealer doesn't need to throw his game plan out at all. He just needs to regroup the players. This one's a bit of an anomaly.
There's definitely some good ins for them coming back in from the State 18s Carnival that will definitely have a big impact. Bella Lewis, Sophie McDonald.
The only issue is Viney and Match go into the
Subiaco.
I love this aspect of post-game.
Yeah.
So good.
Yep. And I hope it stays forever.
Yep.
Unfortunately, since the 1980s, when the blokes in the AFL and WAFL used to be able to have a beer and have a yarn after the game was long gone.
Yep.
And I just hope that for at least as long as I'm watching football, that the female part of the game continues to operate in a collegiate and respectful way with each other, pushing people's heads in the ground. It's just not needed. Yeah. These guys are playing a great brand of footy really, really well.
Yeah, they understand that the game's offering them a lot, and they're going to hopefully continue, like you said, to have that culture coming through.
Very respectful of the game itself. Love it. They know each other very well as well. The team, they've been playing against for with and against each other for years and years and years. And you're right, Matt. It's fantastic.
So let's run through the goal kickers this afternoon, all in maroon and gold. And the Subiaco supporters and players obviously delighted in another 50-point plus win, and that sees them 1 game clear now on the standings. They're starting to build quite nicely now. Tani Tester, after kicking 6 last week, kicked 3 fourth quarter goals. She was held pretty well through 3 quarters, ended up with 3 majors, as we said. Mackenzie Dowrick with one of the goals of the season, a 55-metre drop punt to a vacant square. She ended up with 2. Single goal kickers was Filicamo, Beatrice Devlin, and also Danica Piscaneri. Arguably, well, between her and you would say Filicamo for BOG, would you say this afternoon, Clint?
Probably 7 or 8 names from the Subi side. Yeah, I agree. I think Devlin was very good when she had to be. I think Leah Maskell stood up when the game was going against Subiaco, and her forward thrusts were sensational. Jaya Saria in the first quarter. Stubbs across the journey. You're right. It was a pretty altogether unit, whereas over at Claremont you can probably point the finger at Hongul and Pew and Orm. And they did have a lot of footy because they were losing the midfield battle.
Let's look ahead to round 7 of the WAFLW season.
One thing I want to mention to get this on the record early,
Sure.
really, really good signs from Roden Zimdale. Had a lot of trouble at South Fremantle last year with an ankle. Really, really struggled to rehab it. Just starting to see what she can do, and that's probably a real plus for the Tigers, is the fact that a quality ball user that can really find lots of in the middle is just starting to get her game going.
Brilliant. The thoughts there of Clint Dagerbrot and Ellie Lampkin, also our expert callers this afternoon, as we just head in towards the Subi team song. Stirring rendition of the Subiaco song, 8-6-54 to just the 4 behinds, a 50-point win to Subiaco. We look ahead to round 7 of the WAFLW season for 2019. Saturday, we'll see the Sharks, who are fresh off the bye, coming up against Subiaco. So a tough meeting for them. And we said it last call, teams coming off the byes, 0-4. So not a good sign coming off the bye, but we'll see how East Fremantle respond there. But our broadcast game will be Sunday the 23rd of June, where we get to see how the Tigers respond taking on Swan Districts, who had that shock loss to Peel.
Yeah, we'll see another good game of footy over there. Both teams put their head over the ball. Dilo will, I think he'll just wash this one away. He's just watching some fantastic highlights, and of course the goal highlights are all to the Lions. He'll call this a wash, and they'll build towards Swan Districts Footy Club. Swan Districts will do the same.
Yep. The state of the competition, Clint. I mean, it's really taking off. There's the provisional licence, I believe, for South Fremantle coming in next year. It's coming up all ripe at the moment.
It is. In fact, it's great to teach our young players too that every game is there to be won. Sort of the girls on the 18s camp over this weekend. Sort of a little shock that Peel were able to get up.
Yep.
Bo McDonald, the head coach, was able to say that's because there was 2 teams both trying to get the ball first, and one of the teams did, and that's how you play footy each week. Sounds like a boring sort of old man talk, but it really is as simple as beating your opponent on the day, being first to the footy and getting it going your way.
Ellie, thank you so much for your contribution. It's been a huge weekend for you. You've managed to keep the eyelids awake.
Yep.
Brilliant work. It's great calling alongside you this afternoon.
Not a problem. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to get home to bed.
And Clint, look, really value your insight into the women's game and this inaugural season. Thank you for your contributions this afternoon. We look forward to your support continued as we go to round 7 next week. Remember, our broadcast game will be Claremont taking on Swan Districts. That bounce at Claremont Oval at 2 p.m. Just remind you that Peel Thunder will have the bye next week. On behalf of Ellie Lampkin and Clint Dagerbrot, this is Matt Chechens wishing you a very good afternoon. We look forward to your company next week. It was the Lions by 50 points.
This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.